I secretly dated my son's best friend, and we fell in love. My son found out, and he disowned me. Now, for years later, he wants to meet. What should I say? I understand that coming on this subreddit made me open to criticism. I know, I'll be judged. But I am here to learn how to improve the situation. I am 43, and my son is 22, and I had him at the age of 21 years old. His father passed away 2 years later. So it was me and my son against the world. When it came to my dating life, I haven't been so lucky. I did have some random hookups here and there, and very short-term relationships throughout my son's childhood. In the beginning of my son's senior year, he brought a friend home. Let's call him Max, 22. He was basically at our house every other weekend. I was really happy because my son doesn't have a lot of friends. He usually keeps to himself. I really liked Max as a person. He was a real sweet guy. We had nice and short conversations whenever he was at our place. We exchanged number just in case. He would start sending me messages and jokes. I would respond back. My son didn't mind at all. After 4 months of coming to our house, Max texts me he wants to meet up for coffee out of nowhere. I texted him if it was something urgent or about my son. He responded by saying it's something important. I was curious, so I decided to meet up with him. When I met up with him, he looked very nervous. I asked him what was the meeting about. He told me I can't tell my son about it. He then confessed to me that he was developing feelings for me. I was taken aback by this. I told him that while I was flattered, I had to think about my son. He pleaded with me to just give him a chance. It was so long that I found somebody interested in me like that. Max was already 18 when he was introduced to me, and he was a very handsome man. I said yes, but with the condition that it would be only casual dating and my son doesn't have to know about it. We met up the next week at his place. I told my son I was going out with my friends. After an hour into the date, we slept with each other. Then we promised to meet up in the close future. Our meetups became very frequent, and as such, our relationship grew stronger. I was beginning to fall in love with Max. We learned more about each other. Max was becoming my main source of joy. I wanted the weekend to start early, just to be with Max. It was hard for me to pay attention to anything else in my life. Looking back, it seems that my relationship with Max had a negative effect on the relationship with my son. I had to come up with different excuses on why I wasn't around. I missed out on his soccer games. I think I really messed up when I missed his birthday dinner because I was with Max. I told him that work held me up. It was a week before my son's flight to college that I got a text from Max that my son found out about us. I was in the middle of work. I was scared to go back home. When my son arrived home, he never uttered a word about the situation. He just pretended that nothing ever happened. He seemed very cold to me. Never looked at me in the eye and gave one-word responses. When it came to dropping him off, he didn't even give me a hug or even looked back at me when it was time for the flight to even wave goodbye. When I drove back home, Max's car was in my driveway. It was the first time I saw him ever since I got that text from him. I saw he had a black eye and a broken nose when he stepped out of his car. We hugged each other tightly. I cried in his arms. Once we stepped in my house, I told him how bad I felt to what I did to my son. The worst part wasn't sad my son was leaving but relieved instead. Max comforted me in saying he's just as much at fault for this situation. Max stayed that night. The next day, he proposed to me. I accepted. It's been 4 years now. Max and I have a 2-year-old daughter. He works as a mechanic. The airport was the last time I saw my son. He blocked me on everything. Asked his grandparents if he ever contacted them. His grandfather told me that my son told them everything. He said he will take care of my son, but he told me to never contact my son or them again. 2 days ago, I got a call from my son that he's going to be in town, and he wants to meet up in person this Friday. I said yes. What should I do or say when I meet him? Best comments. God. This is beyond disgusting. Agreed. I would be absolutely mortified if one of my parents did some stupid shit like this. You married your now estranged son's ex-best friend when he was 18.
Wow.
Good on the grandparents being there for the son when his own mom abandoned him. Try not to have an affair with your new daughter's friends when they are of age, okay? And she wasn't even sad, but relieved to see her son leave, because she didn't have to hide her sleeping with Max. They were free to continue to betray him and didn't have to sneak around. Imagine prioritizing effing an 18-year-old over taking care of your own son. It's not about whether she slept with his friend. It's about how she threw away her son when she got a boyfriend. Sure, the way they met is a complicating factor. But if she skipped his birthday to spend sexy times with an age-appropriate boyfriend, that would still be incredibly shitty. Update number 1. 5 days after the first post. For the few that gave me actual advice, I went to meet up with my son without Max or my daughter. It was at a local coffee shop. I found him sitting in one of the booths at the coffee shop. He was on his phone. I was really scared. A part of me wanted to tackle him with a hug and beg for his forgiveness. Another part of me wanted to leave before he noticed me. I said his name to get his attention. He didn't even leave his seat. He just looked at me and said hi. I asked if I could sit. I started asking about how is he doing. He said he was fine. I was about to apologize, but he interrupted me by saying, "Before you apologize, I want to understand how the relationship between Max and you even started." I started telling him everything. When it came to mentioning my meetups, he interjected me and started asking me questions that were difficult to answer. He asked, "So all the times that you were going out, you were lying to me about where were you going? Weren't you?" I nodded. "What about the times I asked to spend time with you? Did you lie to me so you meet up with Max instead?" I started tearing up. It was hard being there with my son. He then asked, "Did you miss out on events to be with Max? What about my birthday?" That's when I started crying. He told me to save my tears. He said he figured that out soon after he learned about the relationship with Max. He just wanted to hear it from me. He then asked me if I was still with Max. I told him I was married to him and I have a daughter with him. He seemed to need a minute to process that. Then he started speaking. He told me he never had an issue with me dating or meeting someone. In fact, he hoped I found love. He understands that I needed companionship and a type of love he couldn't offer as my son. He told me throughout all these years he felt conflicted because both Max and I were both consenting adults, and adults have a right to find happiness. My son admitted he shouldn't have hit Max and was glad he didn't press charges. He said despite all of that, there were some things that he can't get over. He told me he can't get over the fact that I didn't take him into consideration when it came to pursuing the relationship. It was also hurtful to realize that I would value a romantic relationship to the point of being willing to throw away a close relationship with him for it. If I had the attitude of being done raising him and finally pursuing my own life, then that's valid, according to him. However, I would have no right to want to have a close relationship with him in return. Again, that's what he said he believes. He told me he wouldn't have forgotten me when he left for college. He would have wanted me to move close to him after he got a job if he couldn't move close to me. In this ideal world, we would live close by so we could still see each other even after he had a family. He said he loves himself and his life too much to have back in my life. My son said he works as a mechanical engineer now. He is engaged to the love of his life. She was also raised by a single mom like him until she was 16 when her stepdad got into the picture. Both of them have welcomed him into the family. He told me his future in-laws and his fiancée are his family now. He said he was getting a job near them. He finally admitted that he just wanted closure before permanently cutting me off. He told me not to contact him or his family at all. He made it clear he wouldn't be there for me at my last stage of life or even come to my funeral. He made it clear he won't even hold my hand when I pass away. I won't have the privilege of knowing his fiancée or his future kids. He made it clear that if his half-sister ever contacts him as an adult, he'll be upfront on why he doesn't want a relationship with her. He said goodbye to me and left. I cried so hard that I got the attention of the people in the coffee shop. I was crying on the way back home. I don't even know how therapy can even help. I never felt so much emotional pain in my life before. Best comments. I may be wrong, but it seems to me that he wanted to know if OP was still with Max. Perhaps if they weren't together, It feels like he might have wanted to have a relationship with OP. That's the only way to explain why he wanted to talk to her 4 years later. But the news that she's married to Max, and the shock of finding out that she now has a daughter, has put an end to that.